The Prime Minister says he's optimistic that the stalled $3.5 billion Baha project will get back to business very soon. Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis. Topping the news tonight, the Prime Minister, while on a tour of Europe to promote business opportunities for the country, said there will be what he called activity at the Baha site. He says not only will local contractors be happy with the results, but Bahamian workers as well.
I happen to have the confidence that the best result is going to come about soon, that we're going to have activity soon, and that's, I've always been expressing myself in a very confident way about Baha, because the government of the Bahamas has been relentless in our application of effort to ensure that development resumes construction in the shortest possible time, that the Bahamian contractors are paid. And so for me, going forward, I am very confident that the Attorney General and Subaltern Bethel, who've been in weekly discussions with all of the players, are making progress moving forward. And I want to continue to be able to say to people when they say, oh, I'm speaking too optimistically. Prime Ministers must speak optimistically. We speak to the future and we speak hope. And that's what we do. And in this case, as I said before, I know what I am speaking about. And that's the bottom line, that we are doing well in our negotiations and we expect a wonderful outcome to those negotiations.
The Nassau Grouper could be categorized as the most important finfish for the Bahamian economy. Recognizing this fact, Executive Director for the Bahamas National Trust, Eric Carey, underscored the need to have a close season. Otherwise, the country's fisheries sector could take a major hit in the future. Carey is applauding the government for its decision to implement a closed season for the Nassau Grouper, which took effect December 1st and will end on February 28th.
We do have viable populations where we still have grouper spawning aggregations, and that is critical. Grouper is a species that comes together to spawn in mass. That's how they reproduce. What we have in the Bahamas is an opportunity that few other countries have, is to save this species so that fishermen can, in the long run, be able to be beneficiaries economically from this species. The alternative is to fish the grouper to extinction, and then you lose it. You know, if you don't close the grouper schools, the impact is going to be phenomenal.
While the closed grouper season won't have a major impact on John Culmer's business, he had hoped officials would have extended a few more days for fishermen located in southern and central islands, given the devastation experienced due to the passage of Hurricane Joaquin. But poaching remains the biggest concern for environmentalists, fishermen, and consumers. Both Culmer and Lawrence Harrison, a frequent customer at the Monarchy Ramp, are calling on the government to address the ongoing challenge immediately. And Culmer is a firm believer that once the necessary attention is paid to the industry, fishing has the potential to be a huge economic driver for this country.
If you don't stop, there'll be nothing. The Bahamian diver is a different type of diver than from a poacher, basically.
We got to deal more out there with the poaching. Thanks to Defense Force officers there every day. We're trying to combat the poaching.
We make enough money, we supply enough people. We send fish to the European Union, America, everywhere around the world, when we're the only place that has Nassau grouper.
It will not be a success without the popular themes to be executed by the A and B groups. Themes for both holiday parades are quite interesting and unique this time around. For the Boxing Day parade in the B category, the fancy dancers will execute the theme Destinations Let's Travel. Conquerors for Christ, Old Cat Island. Original Congos will execute It's a Wedding, Let's Get Married. Colors Entertainment will salute to King Eric Gibson. In the A category, music makers will execute Flowers, Prodigal Sons, Portraits of Bahamian Currency, the Shell Saxon Superstars Alien Invasion, One Family Warriors Japan, Paradise Games Valley Boys, A Celebration of Peace, and Roots Expression of Love. But just in case you haven't heard the order of entry for the Boxing and New Year's Day Junkanoo parades, well, here's a recap. For the Boxing Day parade, music makers will come out the gates first, followed by the Shell Saxon Superstars, Prodigal Sons in third, One Family Warriors fourth, Paradise Games Valley Boys will come out the blocks in fifth, and Roots sixth. For the New Year's Day parade, Shell Saxon Superstars will come out the blocks first, followed by One Family Warriors in second, Music Makers in third, Paradise Games Valley Boys in fourth, Prodigal Sons in fifth, and Roots will once again come out sixth. The Boxing Day Junkanoo Parade will take center stage on Saturday, December 26th at 10 p.m. The New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade will begin at 2 a.m. Officials from the Caribbean Disaster Management recognizing their own during the conference's closing ceremony and awards gala dinner held at the Malia Nassau Beach Resort. SEDIMA is a regional intergovernmental agency for disaster management in CARICOM. The agency was established in 1991 as the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Response Agency with the primary responsibility for the coordination of emergency response and relief efforts in the region. The organization transitioned to SEDIMA in 2009 to fully embrace the principles and practice of comprehensive disaster management. SEDIMA's Manager for Alliance and Cooperation Services, Andrea Grosvenor, outlines the award's objective.
The National Disaster Offices have been at the forefront of the development and implementation of programs that have fundamentally changed the delivery of disaster management for the better. The leadership, commitment, and dedication of the National Disaster Coordinators or Directors and their staff have been highly instrumental in the advancement and achievements of disaster preparedness and disaster risk reduction at the national level. The SEDIMA Service Award seeks to acknowledge and recognize employees of the National Disaster Offices of the SEDIMA participating states who have completed 10 or more years of continuous service to the institutions.
Director of the National Emergency Management Agency, Captain Stephen Russell, were among the list of awardees receiving the SEDIMA Gold Star of Merit for his 23 years in disaster management in this country. Other NEMA staff members receiving awards, the Silver Award went to Crystal Glinton, First Assistant Secretary, Wendell Rigby, Logistics Officer, and Eleanor Davis, Administrator Cadet, each for 16 years of service. The Bronze Award went to Gail Outen Monker, Senior Assistant Secretary, Operations Manager, for 13 years of service, and to Luke Bethel, Training Officer, for 12 years of service. Former Executive Director of SEDIMA, Jeremy MacArthur Collymore, received the SEDIMA Council Award for his dedication and commitment to the advancement of comprehensive disaster management throughout the region and globally.
I really am very humbled by this recognition. And I can tell you that I will give my true continued support to the idea of SEDIMA and to the organization of SEDIMA. And for all of you who believe in this vision of a regional organization fashioned around the principle of family and neighborhood, continue to support it